What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel, and today we're all going to go through a midlife crisis together. We're going to be reading, I don't know why I said reading, we're going to be watching this video titled AI Took My Job as a Translator, I'm Starting Over at 39. And well, you know, I like languages. I'm not a translator because no one needs a translator for Esperanto, and I'm 39. So I feel like there's a synergy going on right now. Like is that the correct word? A synergy? It sounds fancy. That sounds like a fancy word a translator would use. So I'm going to watch her video and let's begin with this lovely lady here about to eat our face.
I have a degree from Cambridge University.
Okay, the first thing I'm going to say is please, if you're ever going to make a video, guys, okay, please, I'm just going to show what's happening right now, okay? She's like, it looks like she's holding me by the throat and going, I have a degree, okay, from Cambridge University. I will murder you. Like, that's what I feel like right now. Like, I feel like I'm being throttled by her. Now, I know I make a lot of jokes. This is probably a very scary moment for her, and things are probably not great. But, you know, that's how Australians deal with suffering and pain and shit. We just laugh at it. And that's how we get through it, okay? Because I know that is very different in some cultures.
I am a chartered translator with over 15 years of experience. And AI took my job. AI took my livelihood. I find myself starting over at age 39.
You know, I actually had this conversation with my wife the other day because AI is impacting on many, many different industries in different ways. For example, in the game development space, I work as a game programmer. Conceptual artists. For those who don't know, a conceptual artist is someone who, prior to the artwork for a game actually being made, like the 3D models and stuff, they do just a rough, quick drawing of what they want to get the feeling. And then companies would hire these people to do that, and then they would base future development plans and budgets around these concept sketches. I'd be like, it's pretty cool. Let's go down this route. Let's follow this. Well, a lot of those conceptual artists for smaller companies, all the indie companies, they're gone. Yep, AI. It's just all AI now. Yeah, just within 1 year, you just saw basically an entire industry just implode and disappear. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more of this moving forward. This is just unfortunately the way the world is heading. And I was having this conversation with my wife just the other day about this because she works in an area that has potential for AI to be very, very disruptive. And as I said, this is what I said to her. We are going to be moving into, well, we have been already, okay? So for the last 50 years, as a society, we're born, we get a career, we stick to that career, we work at the same company 30, 40 years, then we die. Okay, you know what I mean? That thing's over. Like, I've gone through probably 5 different career paths since I started working. But then again, I am just a little bit scatterbrained. I like doing different stuff. I've been in the military, I've been an actor, I've been a systems administrator, tutor, a programmer, you know, like, I've jumped around quite a bit because I enjoy it, and therefore, if I find out tomorrow, you know, the game industry, it doesn't need me anymore, I'd be like, well, I guess it's time to try something new. Like, it sucks. It does suck. But what I'm trying to get through this whole spill is that, do not think what you're doing today will be what you do in 5 years. That's all I'm saying. Is because it's just the way the world's going, the way things are developing. You will probably be doing something completely different. You never even would have thought about you would be doing in 5 to 10 years just because of the way the workforce changes. Now, I don't think AI is going to take all jobs at any point. Like, if we ever get to that point, we'll have the great AI wars, you know. But like, it will take many, many jobs.
How did I get here? I've been working as a translator for 15 years and as a freelance translator for just over 10 years now. I was made redundant from my last job in 2015. That was a turning point in my life. It gave me the push I needed to pursue freelancing.
Okay.
Over the years, I got qualified. I studied hard for various professional exams. And I thought, I've made it. I had a cozy career working from home, freelancing, working for myself, with various translation agencies.
Okay, I can see what happened here. Yep, yeah.
It allowed me to prioritize my family, bring up 2 children, while making an income from home. And I'll always be grateful for that, to be there for my children when they were young and needed me most. To be there when they started walking, you know, all those milestones. But things have been deteriorating for a while in terms of work. Slowly over the past 12 to 18 months, thanks to AI.
You know, it's also interesting is I was a film actor long ago. I'll bring it up, okay? I like bringing this up. Okay, so here is my professional portfolio. Actually, most of my stuff's not even on here because I stopped bothering to add things to this. So you can see this goes back to 2009, and then it stopped somewhere around 2011. I actually continued on for like another good 2 years after that. But anyway, the reason I'm showing you this is because I stopped being an actor, not because I don't love being an actor. Like, I fucking love acting, okay? Like, that's evident from the fact that I'm a YouTuber, okay? I stopped being an actor because basically it died as an industry here in Australia. Now, when I say it died, I don't mean like it's just over. There's no more acting. There's no more movies being made. There's nothing. To give you an idea, I remember seeing a stat when I left the industry here that basically said that 1% of actors in Australia actually make a living wage. 1%. That's how oversaturated it is, okay? And when I say living wage, I mean like maybe equivalent to an office worker. It's nothing fancy. While then that 1% of the 1%, okay, that's the ones who actually, you know, make it to Hollywood stardom or whatever. So it's like, I saw the writing on the wall while I was there, and I was just like, nah, this is, it was just slowly starting to, like, jobs were just starting to, like, disappear as I was there. And as much as it sucked, I was like, fuck, I gotta find something else that I'm also like, I love, I'm passionate about, or at least I can be passionate about, and then, yeah, just move on. And unfortunately, this will probably happen with game development at some point as well, but yeah, I just want to stress, guys, that it's not the end of the world if you do lose your job to AI. You just need to be adaptive to how the world is. Be prepared to constantly be learning and understand that, yeah, it may suck in that moment, but you'll probably enjoy it in the long run. Like, fuck, if I never left acting, I never would have gotten to game development, which was actually ages later. I never would have learned tutoring. I never would have become a fucking YouTuber. You know, like, none of this stuff. I could probably go back to acting now. I've got a bit of a following. Hey, guys, when I retire, I don't know when that is. It was meant to be this year, but maybe it'll be in a couple of years. When I retire, should I go back into acting? Because, like, I'll have a bit of an audience. You guys can see me on the big screen eating zombies and stuff. Wait, no. I'd be killing them. Why would I be eating them?
At first, it was slow, gradual. Some clients I worked with started sending me less work, and then no work.
That's exactly what happened with acting. Now, I didn't get sent work, but the briefs that were available for possible jobs started to dry up.
One of them at least told me that they were experimenting with AI and machine translation before they stopped sending me work altogether.
Oh man, oh god, yeah, as soon as you get something like that, you're like, oh shit, the writing's on the wall, It's already starting to happen in the field that I'm working within. So I'm a senior programmer now as a game developer, and you just see the big company, like the company that I currently work in and the companies that, you know, work adjacently, they're looking how to maximize code, you know, development of code via AI, and I'm just like, if you're a junior right now, it's gonna be tough. Like, I'm safe as a senior because I need someone to clean up the mess. But yeah, it's interesting times for the future.
Last year on my main channel, I actually made a video about that. A major client stopped sending me work because of AI, and this time it was very explicit. The agency told me that the end client decided to use automated AI translation instead. That was maybe 30% of my income, so that was tough. But last week, it all happened overnight. So February, I lost my number one source of income. That translation agency accounted for maybe 80% of my income. And overnight, really overnight, I stopped getting work. At first, I thought it was maybe a blip. I emailed the agency after a few days of not getting.
You know, this reminds me a lot of ways, okay, so if I go back to the acting example, I saw it slowly drying up over time, and other people were like, oh, it's just a rough patch, you know, the industry always goes through rough patches, we just got to push through it, just pick up some other odd jobs, and then wait for the jobs to come, and I was just like, nah, I want to get ahead of this. I don't want to be the last person there when they turn off the lights type of thing. Like, the industry's it's still here, okay, there's still people working, but I just would not want to be the last person when they turn off the lights.
Any work, asking, well, what's going on? They told me they were automating using AI. They were automating the job allocation process. And for whatever reason, I stopped getting work. The algorithm didn't like me. I lowered my rates on the system as per their advice. Still no work. So overnight, my income has dropped to almost zero. I've been working on my main YouTube channel for a few years. It's still not monetized. And it's so hard. I've grown to that 1,700 subscribers, but I'm still...
Oof, 1,700 subs. Like, you cannot consider YouTube as even an income realistically until, like, depending on where you live, but she's in the UK, so she's basically in a similar state to me when it comes to income from YouTube. Depends on the length of the video, but you need to have hundreds of thousands of subs who are actively watching videos at, let's say, 40k views every 48 hours. Probably way more than that. You probably need like 50k, depending, maybe for her, because I'm assuming she's got a working spouse. Like, you need so, like, YouTube's one of the hardest things to work in. Like, if you want to make it a job, like, I've got like ambitions one day. I want to make it a job, but a possible job, like, as I said, maybe I'll just be fucking replaced. You know, it could happen here. Like, lots of people are watching complete AI YouTube channels. Like, there's this YouTube channel which is like literally Bigfoot Diaries, blew the fuck up, and then there's like AI music channels which have got like so many subs, and it's just like, yeah, well, maybe that will happen to me as well. It is what it is.
A long way from hitting the 4,000 watch hours criteria.
Even if you hit that, you're going to get like 10 cents. Like, unless you get a lot of views. Like this, okay, so this is probably her biggest hitting video, because on this channel, which is like 700 subs, it's like 14k views. She probably made, if this was monetized, she probably made $30 off this. Max. Okay, that was $30 Australian. So what is that? That's like 20 something dollars American.
Book, which I self-published in 2021, which is all about helping parents raise multilingual children, because I
Yes! We have someone else who suffers English, and this one's a translator, guys. See, it's not just me. It's not just me, okay?
Personally struggled with that and found a way forward with my husband, and I wanted to pass on that advice. And I started the channel to share that advice directly with the world, whether or not people wanted to buy my book, and books actually, because I later created more books with my sister. And then it turned into a real passion, making YouTube videos. And now I'm turning 40 this year. I'm starting over. So it really...
This is going to be a common theme. People are going to be starting over every 5 or so years in the future.
It is a bit of an existential crisis for me, a time of reckoning. I worked so hard to get into a top university. I got a good job after that. I worked at Christie's, a really prestigious auction house. After that, I worked for a prestigious luxury fashion company as an in-house translator. And now I find myself where I am. No income, no career. I have a really prestigious degree that I worked hard for. I have tons of qualifications to my name, but I have to start over. And that's the thing. I can't really blame AI, because as frustrated as I feel, I think AI can do my job better in many ways than I can. Or maybe not necessarily better, but certainly a lot faster. And
yeah, that's it. That's the thing. Like, it's not necessarily... That's how they even look at it in programming. At the moment, they look at it as in, yeah, it's going to make mistakes. So as long as we have someone just check over that code, the mass amount of code that it's producing for different things, then we should be fine. So they're just willing to not have juniors, and therefore there will be no more seniors in the future when the seniors currently retire. And then everything's going to go to shit. But yeah, we'll figure out a way. They'll figure out a way. They always do.
Way cheaper. From a business perspective, if you could automate your translation and maybe sacrifice 10% of quality, so your quality goes from, 10 out of 10 to 9 or 8 out of 10, but you cut your budget by 80, 90%.
That is so true. That's how they look at it. If you drop a tiny bit in quality and you save a ton of money, that's how companies look at it.
I know what I would do as a business. It makes business sense to use AI instead, doesn't it? And I've always believed the world does not owe me a living. That's my Chinese upbringing, I suppose.
That's one of the things I love about Chinese culture, is the fact that they never sit there and think, woe to me. Why is the world so rough to me? They just think, okay, how can I fix this? How can I change this? Like, it's very different to some people that I know. Like, I guess I would say they're Australians, but I wouldn't say this is Australian culture. Like, it's hard to say because, like, Australian culture is actually pull yourself up by your own bootstraps type of thing. But I've noticed that in certain areas, especially within the cities in Australia, some people will just be like, as soon as like the slightest little thing touches them, they'll be like, oh, my life's over. Oh, it's so bad. And it's like, bro, just imagine if you're in like friggin' feudal Japan. You just get randomly killed by some dude because he wants to test how sharp his sword is. Like, come on, life's not that bad.
It is my responsibility to provide for my family, and I just have to accept that. I've been through hard times before. The redundancy back then was really brutal, but I got through it and came out stronger. So I'm hoping that in 10 years' time, I'll look back on this period, 2026, as another pivotal moment. An opportunity to maybe transform my life, to start over, maybe do something better, or at least something new.
Okay, so I'm not going to continue watching this video. You guys, I'll put a link down in the description. You guys can actually go watch it, you know, sub to her channel, give her a little bit of support as she tries to become a renowned author, helping people with bilingual children, which is kind of a cool thing. That's pretty much it. I just wanted to share that. I actually thought when I started watching this video, this would basically just be a girl raging at AI constantly for like, you know, 11 minutes, and then me going, come on, like, let's pull this back a bit. Like, AI's got its benefits and stuff. But no, this was actually a pretty good video. I actually enjoyed it. So if you guys have enjoyed it, sub to the channel and her channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Unless, of course, you're all AI and you don't actually exist and no one's really watching me and it's a dead internet theory is real. Well, that's alright. I like the dead internet.